Honourable members, please be seated. Our next speaker, who I will now call on, is the Assistant Minister for Commerce and Business Development, the Honourable Sachidanand.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Honourable Speaker, Honourable Prime Minister, Honourable Deputy Prime Minister, Honourable Leader of Opposition, Honourable Cabinet Ministers, Assistant Ministers, Honourable Members. Fellow Fijians watching through Parliamentary TV, live streaming, or listening to the radio today. A good morning, Nisa Yandra, Nisa Bonavinaka. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise today to respond to the most gracious opening address delivered by His Excellency the President of the Republic of Fiji at the commencement of this new season of Parliament in 2026. At the outset, allow me to join the honourable members in conveying our sincere appreciation to His Excellency for his thoughtful, unifying, and forward-looking address. His message reminds us of who we are as a nation, where we come from, and where we must go together. His Excellency's address was not merely ceremonial, but was powerful, principled, and deeply grounded to the lived realities of ordinary Fijians. Our farmers, our workers, our small business owners, young people, and families striving for a better future tomorrow. He reminded us that 150 years ago, when our forefathers seeded Fiji, they called for promotion of good governance, education, trade, and industry. These goals remain just as relevant today as they were then. However, His Excellency also reminded us that while our economy has expanded over time, the benefits of development have not always been equally shared. The Household Income and Expenditure Survey shows that approximately a quarter of our population live below poverty, while a significant proportion live just above it, facing constant hardships. These are not simply stats. They represent real people in our communities, families working very hard every day, parents providing for their children, and young people wondering what opportunities the future will bring. His Excellency reminded us that these realities require humility in leadership and resolve in policy making. Mr. Speaker, sir, I fully agree. Mr. Speaker, sir, in his address, His Excellency outlined three guiding principles that must shape the government policy and national development. First, unity in diversity, ensuring that every citizen, regardless of background, location, feels included in our national progress. Second, sustainability and resilience, protecting our people, our economy, and our environment for future generations. And third, integrity and good governance, strengthening the trust in public institutions and leadership. These principles guide the work of our ministry. Our focus is clear: to create an environment where every Fijian can participate in the economy and share its rewards. Through policy reforms, partnerships with stakeholders, and strengthening key institutions, we are working to ensure that economic growth creates opportunities, supports decent work, and protects vulnerable communities. We are improving regulatory systems to investors, so investors and entrepreneurs can operate with certainty and efficiency. We are strengthening partnerships that attract private investment into priority sectors, particularly in rural, interior, and maritime areas. At the same time, we are engaging financial institutions to ensure that businesses across Fiji have the capital they need to grow. Mr. Speaker, sir, an important part of our effort is the role of Fiji Investment Corporation Limited, or FICL. This institution serves as a catalyst for investment by strategically deploying public capital to attract larger flows of private investment in priority sectors. Through targeted investments, FICL helps unlock opportunities for businesses that may otherwise struggle to ensure or secure financing. It also supports the implementation of Access to Business Funding Act by helping channeling funds to small enterprises, cooperatives, businesses led by women and youth. In doing so, it contributes to improving governance and performance in selected state-owned enterprises while strengthening transparency and accountability. Mr. Speaker, sir, at the center of our economic agenda are micro, small, and medium enterprises, MSMEs as we call them. These enterprises are the heartbeat of Fiji's economy. They are the market vendors, the village carpenters, the canteen owners, the small retailers, and the digital entrepreneurs building businesses from their home. They represent the resilience and determination of our people. However, access to finance remains the single greatest challenge facing these businesses. To address this, the government is implementing Access to Business Funding Act in partnership with the Reserve Bank and other stakeholders. This legislation introduces alternative pathways to finance, including small offer regime and the establishment of Fiji's first licensed intermediary investment platform. What this means in practical terms is that the entrepreneurs who may not meet traditional banking requirements will now have new avenues to raise capital. A woman weaving mat in Savu-Savu, a farmer in the interior, a young entrepreneur in Lambasa will have opportunities to access funding that were previously unavailable. To support the success of these initiatives, the Ministry also strengthening training programs in financial literacy and business planning. We are working with business networks and financial institutions, including Fiji Development Bank, to ensure entrepreneurs receive the guidance and support they need to grow their business. Mr. Speaker, sir, His Excellency also emphasized the importance of empowering interior, rural, and maritime economies so that development reaches every province and island. Our ministry administers a range of programs that support exporters, young entrepreneurs, rural communities, and small businesses. These programs aim to empower individuals to become job creators rather than job seekers. In December last year, we launched Fiji's first 5-year MSME strategic plan. This plan sets ambitious targets of increasing MSME contribution to GDP to 40% by 2030. The strategy focuses on 5 key pillars: strengthening MSME data and policy development, improving coordination across support ecosystems, expanding market access, developing workforce skills, and increasing the overall economic contribution of MSMEs. This plan provides clear roadmap for strengthening small business and development across the country. As part of this work, the Ministry is developing a MSME service book that will consolidate all information on all government services, grants, and support programs available to MSMEs. These resources will help entrepreneurs easily access the assistance available to them without navigating multiple agencies. Mr. Speaker, sir, His Excellency also spoke about the importance of ensuring that resource owners participate meaningfully in economic development. One of the most effective ways to achieve this is through cooperatives movement. Across all 14 provinces, cooperative provides a structure that allows communities to work together, pool resources, and participate in value chains as partners rather than simply suppliers of raw materials. Primary cooperatives bring producers together at the community level. Secondary cooperatives provide processing capacity and collective bargaining power. Tertiary cooperatives create access to national and international markets. Through this structure, producers can move beyond simple selling raw goods to instead participate in a value-added production and market access. The ministry is placing particular focus on three drivers of cooperative development, that is youth, women, and technology. Young people bring innovation and digital literacy. Women bring strong entrepreneurial leadership and community cohesion. Technology enables rural producers to connect with markets, access information, and manage cooperative operations efficiently. Fiji once had a very strong and vibrant cooperative sector that empowered our villages and rural communities. At one point, more than 2,000 cooperatives were operating across the country, providing livelihoods, supporting local enterprises, and promoting collective economic participation. However, between 2006 and 2022, we witnessed a steady and alarming decline in this sector. The number of active cooperatives fell dramatically to fewer than 300. During the same period, the Department of Cooperative itself was severely weakened. The staff numbers were reduced from 120 officers to fewer than 30. The closure of Cooperative Training Center facility further removed the crucial pillar for education, governance, and capacity building within the movement. These decisions did not occur in isolation. Together, they undermined the very foundation of Fiji's cooperative movement and contributed significantly to the decline of a sector that once played a central role in empowering our rural and grassroots communities. Mr. Speaker, sir, we are undertaking a comprehensive review of the Cooperative Act of 1996. This legislation was developed in a different economic environment. It was now evolved to reflect modern business practices and technological advances. The review will ensure that Fiji's cooperative sector remains relevant, competitive, and capable of supporting inclusive economic growth. Alongside this, we are developing a national cooperative policy to strengthen the role of cooperatives as a sustainable business enterprise that generates economic growth for its members. Mr. Speaker, sir, another important responsibility of the ministry is to ensure fairness and integrity in everyday commercial transactions. Every day, Fijians purchase fuel, groceries, produce, and building materials. They must have confidence that when they pay for a liter of fuel or a kilogram of produce, they receive exactly what they paid for. Our Standards and Trade Measures officers conduct inspections of fuel pumps, weighing scales, and price displays across the country to ensure compliance with national standards. When irregularities are identified, the enforcement action is taken to protect consumers. These efforts are particularly important for families living on limited incomes who are most affected when transactions are unfair. At the same time, our standards framework also supports producers and exporters. For Fijian producers to compete internationally, they must meet recognized quality standards. Our technical officers work with rural producers, women groups, and cooperatives to help them achieve the certifications required to supply to hotels, export overseas, and access higher value markets. We are also working to align Fiji's standards with regional and international systems, helping reduce barriers to trade and expand opportunities for exporters. Mr. Speaker, sir, improving the ease of doing business is another priority for the ministry. His Excellency highlighted the importance of modernizing government services and regulatory systems. In response, we are advancing several digital transformations initiatives to achieve that. The Start a Business System, SABS, has now been operational for over a year. The online platform allows entrepreneurs to submit and track their business registration application digitally. It reduces paperwork, improves transparency, and shortens approval times. For an entrepreneur in Rotuma or a young person starting a small business, this means they can register their business without traveling long distance or waiting in long queues. We are also launching the Building Permits Approval System, or BPAS. This system integrates approvals from multiple agencies into a single coordinated digital process, making it faster, easier for individuals and businesses to secure building permits. These reforms align with international best practices and supports Fiji's competitiveness as an investment destination. Importantly, digital systems also strengthen transparency and accountability. When applicants can track the progress of their application and understand the expected timelines, public trust in government processes increases. Mr. Speaker, sir, a consistent message throughout His Excellency's address was the importance of ensuring that development reaches every province and every island. The Ministry embraces these challenges. Our MSc programs targets rural and maritime communities. Our corporate development initiatives extend across all 14 provinces. Our standards officers conduct inspection nationwide, and our digital reforms ensure that the services previously available only in the urban centers can now be accessed remotely. When a woman in a rural village certifies a product and sells it to a tourism market, that is development reaching the margins. When a young farmer forms a cooperative to develop their land collectively, that is development reaching the margins. When a business can register online without traveling to town, that too is development reaching the margins. Mr. Speaker, sir, His Excellency reminded us of the wisdom of 3 C's of Socrates: truth, goodness, and usefulness. Allow me to apply this principle to work of the ministry. Is it true that MSMEs are the backbone of our economy? The answer is yes, and our policies aim to strengthen their contribution to the national growth. Second, is it good that the cooperatives are being established across all 14 provinces? Answer is yes, because they enable communities to share in economic opportunities. Third, is it useful that we are strengthening standards, improving market access, and digitalizing government services? Answer is yes, because these reforms save time, builds trust, and creates real opportunities for our people. Our targets are clear: increasing MSME contribution to GDP to 40% by 2030, strengthening cooperative developments nationwide, and improving business registration processes through digital platforms. These are measurable commitments that we can continue to track and report. Mr. Speaker, sir, before I conclude, I wish to respond to the call by the Honorable Keaton Lal for the government to revive the failing copra industry. Let me assure this House that over the past 3 years, government has made significant efforts to revive and stabilize the industry. Today, the price of copra is well over $2,000 a ton. In fact, Mr. Speaker, throughout the history of the copra industry in Fiji, this is the first time farmers are receiving a price exceeding $2,000 a ton. This is clear demonstration of government's commitment to ensuring better returns for our farmers. In addition, the relevant ministries have been actively supporting large-scale coconut replanting programs to secure long-term sustainability of the industry. The coconut mill has also diversified into a range of value-added products to increase revenue streams and ultimately improve the returns that go back to our copra farmers. However, Mr. Speaker, sir, it is important to place the record straight. The honourable member must remember that the decline of the copra industry did not happen overnight. It was the previous administration that laid the foundation for the decline. In 2010, they abolished the Coconut Industry Development Authority, CIDA, a key institution that had been responsible for the development and coordination of the sector. The decision marked the beginning of a steady decline of the copra industry. And it was not only the copra industry that was neglected. Yangara Pastoral Company, one of our important state-owned enterprise, was also allowed to deteriorate due to years of negligible investment and lack of strategic direction. The entity was effectively left to fend for itself. This government has now stepped in to reverse the situation. Investments are being made. Operations are being strengthened. We are seeing a gradual turnaround. Overgrown areas Overgrown areas are being cleared. Fence lines are being repaired. Livestock are being properly accounted for. A proper management system are being re-established. So, Mr. Speaker, sir, let me say this clearly to the honourable member. This government is working to revive the industries that were neglected and left to decline under the previous administration. Mr. Speaker, sir, education plays a vital role in building the nation. The schools are not only places for students to learn academic knowledge, but also environments where they learn values such as respect, tolerance, cooperation, and equality. Mr. Speaker, sir, I would like to acknowledge the state and state that we need to appreciate the efforts made by our educators. As I came across to witness a group of 80 teachers in Savu cluster who were meeting last week to discuss pressing issues in 6 schools in Savu. The map way forward for improving literacy and numeracy. We need to commend their efforts. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm amazed by the call by the Honourable call from Honourable Praveen Bala for the Government of National Unity. What a hypocrisy! When independent members of Parliament were moving forward to join the government and work together, we were called many names, including snake. And yet today, the same person is calling for everyone to work together. To conclude, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Point of order.
Yes, please.
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
I never said snake to him.
No.
Yeah, he should get his facts right.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I did not say Mr. Bala called those names.
Right. I wasn't listening to you, very frank. I'm so sorry. Did you use the word snake?
I did, but I did not state that Mr. Bala, Honorable Bala called my words. I did not state that.
All right. It was not directly.
No, absolutely not.
Okay, carry on.
To conclude, Mr. Speaker, sir, His Excellency concluded his address by calling for unity, service, and integrity in public life. I echo that today. The work of this ministry is not about politics, it is about people. The market vendor expanding his stall, the farmer seeking fair price for his crops, and the young entrepreneur starting a business, and the family that simply wants fairness in the marketplace. His Excellency asks for a simple but powerful question, Yanga, is it useful? The work outlined today is useful. It is useful to the market vendor in Suva. It is useful to the farmer of from Vanwalevu. It is useful to the cooperative members in the maritime zone. It is useful to the young entrepreneurs starting their first business. It is useful because it translates national vision into real opportunities for our people. Mr. Speaker, sir, I wholeheartedly support the address delivered by His Excellency, the President. And I encourage all members to work together to build Fiji where every citizen, regardless of where they live or the circumstances of their birth, can participate fully in our economy and share its rewards. Vinaka Vakalevu, Dhanyavad, thank you, and may God bless Fiji.
I thank the Honorable Suchidanand, the Assistant Minister for Commerce and Business Development, for his contribution. I now invite the Minister for Employment, Productivity and Workplace Relations, the Honorable Agnes Singh, to speak on the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Ministers, Honorable Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Members of Parliament, fellow Fijians watching locally and abroad. Bulare, Bulasia. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise to respond to the address delivered by His Excellency at the opening of Parliament on Monday, 16 February. His Excellency's address was principled, forward-looking, and grounded in the realities faced by our people. It set 3 clear governing principles: unity in diversity, sustainability and resilience, and integrity in governance. Mr. Speaker, sir, my ministry's response gives practical effect to these principles through our core mandate. His Excellency truly identified that poverty and household hardship are critical national concerns. Mr. Speaker, sir, reviewing and modernizing Fiji's labor standards is the ministry's most direct response to this reality. Work remains the most sustainable pathway out of poverty. However, work must be accessible, safe, fairly paid, and protected by law. The right to work, as enshrined in the Constitution, is fundamental to dignity and opportunity. Mr. Speaker, sir, in this context, wage policy must respond responsibly to cost of living pressures. In 2024, the coalition government progressively increased the minimum wage, the national minimum wage, from $4 to $5 within a period of 7 months. This was a 25% increase, and not in drips and drabs, as was done in the past. Similarly, the 10 sectorial wages were also increased in 2 tranches. The tripartite wages councils will continue to review and adjust wages periodically, Mr. Speaker, sir. Tripartism, in its true sense, has been reinstated by the coalition government after 1.5 decades. Mr. Speaker, sir, on labor complaints resolution and recovery of wages in the last 7 months, my ministry has settled 484 complaints with a total recovery of more than 795,000 unpaid wages for affected workers, well over 100,000 a month. Mr. Speaker, sir, labor mobility programs continue to make a significant contribution to household well-being. In 2025 alone, over 2,000 Fijians participated in the PALM and RSE work schemes. Remittances from these programs surpassed $1 billion, directly supporting families through household expenses, education, housing, healthcare, and small business investment. We have strengthened the pre-departure preparation, improved in-country support mechanisms, and enhanced reintegration pathways to ensure that skills gained overseas are productively used by returning workers. Mr. Speaker, sir, through cooperation with our partner governments, 4 country liaison officers have been appointed in Australia and 1 in New Zealand to provide direct assistance to our workers. Mr. Speaker, sir, an important development was the Family Accompaniment Pilot Program under the PALM scheme. Since its introduction in 2024, about 90 families have participated in the program. This initiative reduces the social strain of long-term separation, supports families' well-being, and strengthens the overall benefits for Fijian workers and their families. The ministry is finalizing the review of the National Employment Policy, which focuses on promoting decent work, strengthening labor market systems, and supporting skills development and entrepreneurship. By expanding employment opportunities, especially for youth, women, and vulnerable groups, the policy aims to reduce poverty and hardship while improving household incomes and economic resilience. Mr. Speaker, sir, His Excellency emphasized that every citizen must share in national progress. My ministry is advancing this commitment through inclusive labor market initiatives. We are expanding employment access across rural and maritime as well as urban communities through job fairs, structured work attachments, and volunteer programs. We continue to enforce anti-discrimination provisions and strengthen maternity protections for women in the workforce as well as people with disabilities. At the same time, we are supporting youth employment and entrepreneurship while ensuring that Fijian workers, both at home and abroad, are protected through effective labor standards. This, Mr. Speaker, sir, His Excellency made it clear that economic growth must create decent work. The ministry has reviewed two important legislations which are currently before the Standing Committee. The Employment Relations Bill 2025 modernizes employment standards and aligns them with international standards. It strengthens compliance, reinforces equal opportunity, and protects key worker rights in relation to minimum terms and conditions of employment. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Work Care Bill 2025 modernizes workplace accidents, compensation systems, and integrates them with occupational health and safety prevention and oversight. It ensures timely compensation for injured workers while strengthening rehabilitation and return to work systems. Both these bills are to be tabled in the next session of Parliament. Mr. Speaker, sir, improving workplace safety is also a priority. In partnership with the Ministry of Trade and relevant agencies, we have launched an online OHS portal for general workplace inspections and building permit approval systems to streamline approvals and reduce processing times for businesses. Mr. Speaker, sir, since 1st January 2024, my ministry has been processing employment and school accident cases transferred from the ACCF under the existing no-fault compensation scheme. For this financial year, as of February 2026, we have paid out $6.9 million for 590 pending cases. Mr. Speaker, sir, in addressing current challenges in our labor market, the coalition government has introduced outcome-based initiatives. The first one, the government has incentivized and refreshed the apprenticeship scheme by topping up wages from $3 to $5 an hour. In the last two budgets, Mr. Speaker, sir, 401 awards were provided, and this is expected to increase in the next budget. Mr. Speaker, sir, tertiary institutions have been encouraged to increase intakes in TVET with provisions of scholarships. According to the graduate employability data supplied by the Fiji National University, Fiji recorded a significant number of local graduates between 2023 and 2024 across the various colleges. In 2023, there were a total of 3,644 graduates, with records indicating that approximately 75% were in employment at the time of the data extraction. In 2024, the total number of graduates was 3,211, with around 71% recorded as being employed. Mr. Speaker, sir, between 2024 to 2026, Pacific Polytech TVET programs have shown strong growth. The number of graduates has increased from 878 in 2024 to 1,370 in 2026. Training programs are delivered across 14 locations, including rural areas, with more than 95% participation by indigenous communities. In addition, qualification programs have trained over 2,800 participants, expanding skills and opportunities across urban and rural communities. From 2023 to 25, a total of 165 students graduated from Navuso Agricultural School, Mr. Speaker, sir. Similarly, for the same period, in Montfort Boys Town, a total of 147 students graduated. Mr. Speaker, sir, the ministry will also review its strategic plan for 2024 to 2029 to advance a national future of work strategy. This will assess automation risks, forecast future skills demand, and prepare our workforce for emerging sectors. Mr. Speaker, sir, productivity remains essential to sustainable wage growth and national competitiveness. The ministry is processing the establishment of the Productivity Commission of Fiji as an independent advisory body focused on evidence-based productivity reform. Through our partnership with Asian Productivity Organization, we are embedding productivity-focused strategies into national planning. The Commission will help align wage growth, business sustainability, and national competitiveness. Mr. Speaker, sir, climate change is also an employment challenge. It affects workers directly in sectors such as agriculture, fisheries, tourism, and coastal communities. We are developing a just transition framework to support workers affected by climate-related disruptions. This framework will identify vulnerable sectors, support retraining opportunities, and promote green job pathways while ensuring workers are part of the transition process. The ministry is also working in partnership with other ministries on community-based climate resilient initiatives, including tree planting programs that engage communities. Allowances for the volunteers for these activities will be borne by our ministry. Mr. Speaker, sir, the work of my ministry is grounded in tripartism. The partnership between government, employers, and workers' representatives. Freedom of association and collective bargaining are essential to maintain stable industry relations. Through strengthened mediation services and digital case management systems, we continue to resolve disputes efficiently and maintain industrial stability. Mr. Speaker, sir, this was evident through the settlement of Fiji's longest strike by the Batukola gold mine workers and the recent resolution of the Yangara pastoral dispute as well as the Ba Town Council dispute, amongst the numerous others which demonstrate the importance of good faith dialogue. Mr. Speaker, sir, stable labor relations support investor confidence and strengthen national unity. Mr. Speaker, sir, employment is dignity. Employment is stability. Employment is unity. Through labor law reform, labor mobility governance, inclusive labor market programs, productivity initiatives, and future of work planning, my ministry continues to implement the principles articulated by His Excellency. Unity in diversity, sustainability and resilience, and integrity in governance. We do this with accountability to this Parliament and to the people of Fiji. Mr. Speaker, sir, before I conclude, I would like to briefly respond to some of the comments or concerns raised by our friends in the opposition. Honorable Joseph Nand, he raised the issue of challenges faced in relation to foreign workers and the difficulties experienced by some of our employers. Mr. Speaker, sir, the challenges involving migrant workers arise from unscrupulous agents that are based in source countries who mislead workers, creating disputes for employers in Fiji. Now, these were issues that we have inherited, a spillover from the previous administration because there were no sound policies. Mr. Speaker, sir, our government is addressing this by strengthening oversight. So what? Pursuing a government-to-government recruitment arrangement with the Government of India, ensuring foreign workers are recruited through recognized and regulated agencies. Mr. Speaker, sir, when you have a 16-year-old, 3 years is not enough. Mr. Speaker, sir, I must also reiterate that poor planning in the past led to oversupply of workers, graduates in some sectors and a dire shortage in others. We have now got all planned very clearly planned training programs, and we ensure that we are doing all our education programs according to the needs. Mr. Speaker, sir, there has been a lot of talk about cost of living. Let me repeat that cost of living is actually mostly out of our hands when it is affected by external factors. If the price of goods goes up in the country of source, naturally it will go up. That is because that is where we buy it from. Mr. Speaker, sir, the best way to address is try and put more money in the pockets of people. And in that manner, we have increased the wages. The minimum wages, the sectorial wages, social welfare, and all other benefits. We have also assisted students. We have a lot of assistance is being provided to the poor and the needy through all the social schemes that we have to address the cost of living issue. They do not acknowledge that. Mr. Speaker, sir, apart from the minimum wages, the salary increase for the civil servants between 10 and 23%. That was the highest ever without a job evaluation exercise. I must repeat that. Without a job evaluation exercise, that's the highest increase ever given. We also removed the tenure, the contractual appointments, and we gave them tenure, and we increased the retirement age to 60. So they have another 5 years of working life. Mr. Speaker, sir, they had a job evaluation exercise in 2017. All those who got above 15% rise, their posts, although confirmed in the past, they had been there for several years, were declared vacant. And the posts were re-advertised, and many of those civil servants were demoted. And that was a very stressful period for the entire civil service, Mr. Speaker, sir. They also talk about instilling fear. Mr. Speaker, sir. Instilling fear is the legacy of the previous government. Instilling fear in the opposition, instilling fear in those who oppose from the trade union movement, anybody who opposed their policies, they were in some manner or other harassed and victimized. Whether it was detention, whether it was arrest, whether it was being taken in for questioning. All this was happening those days. And Mr. Speaker, sir, I also sympathize with my colleagues on the other side. They were also living in fear. They dared never question the decisions made by their bosses. They kept quiet. They were worried about their own jobs. We all know that all that was happening. Mr. Speaker, sir, that is the legacy that was left by their leaders. Mr. Speaker, sir, it's common knowledge that it was my way or the highway. Yeah. And it was very meekly followed by all of them. Mr. Speaker, sir, this government has brought in true democracy. It reinstated all the rights, whether it is workers, whether it is ethnic groups, anybody else, all the rights are fully restored now. People have freedom of expression, people have freedom to express themselves, people have freedom to demonstrate. This is what is democracy, Mr. Speaker, sir. There was no democracy in the past. It was, Mr. Speaker, sir, we have also heard a lot about migration. People leaving the country. Let me just quickly repeat to this House what has been stated by Honorable Prasad, the former Minister for Finance. Mr. Speaker, sir, In 2017, 26,000 people migrated. In 2018, 27,000 people migrated. In 2019, 28,000 people migrated. In 2020, 8,500, that was the COVID period. In 2021, it was also COVID period. In 2022, 28,000 migrated. In 2023, 29,000 migrated. So there is no big difference in the migration during these years, whether it was during their reign or our reign. Because migration, people's mobility, people looking for greener pastures is nothing new. It has always been there, and it will continue to happen. From New Zealand, Mr. Speaker, say, 122,000 people migrated from New Zealand to Australia and to other countries. And that's a 4% jump from 24 to 25. So if people are saying that people are migrating just because this government has got bad policies, that is not true. That is a false statement. Very clear, Mr. Speaker. Say, we have given the facts. Mr. Speaker, say, I thank you for the opportunity.
I thank the Honourable Agni Singh, the Minister for Employment, Productivity and Workplace Relations, for his contribution. I now call on the Honourable Fayaz Koya to contribute.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker. Honourable Speaker, Honourable Prime Minister, Honourable Cabinet Ministers, Honourable Members of Parliament, and fellow Fijians. Honourable Speaker, I rise to respond to His Excellency's speech delivered at the opening of the session of Parliament, and a speech that gives us a lot of material to reflect on. But right at the outset, Honourable Speaker, let me just quickly address two things before I forget about it. Honourable Speaker, we just heard Honourable Agni Singh speak about blaming the politics of the past or the political parties of the past. Honourable Speaker, there's a definition that exists with respect to continuous blaming. It's actually toxic, it's destructive, but it's actually blame shifting when you have a problem yourself. This idea that by raising these issues about the previous political party, a previous government, you're actually defecting from your own problems. So, you should just get on with a job. And get on with a job is what I had said when we started this particular parliamentary session. Honourable Speaker, I also wanted to quickly address something that was raised by the Honourable Sachit Anand with respect to CEDA. At that time, he said the government removed CEDA. It was not a removal of CEDA. It was actually taken into the Ministry of Agriculture with respect. It was merged. CEDA's responsibilities were merged into the Ministry of Agriculture to simplify administration and to reduce costs. So let's not confuse the House, or let's not mislead the House. It was done with respect to better management of that particular part of the industry. Honourable Speaker, I wanted to take a moment also, Honourable Speaker, to ensure that all of us offer our prayers and support with respect to safety and all our Fijians in the Middle East. It is a region that is absolutely fraught with danger at the moment, and there are many Fijians residing in those areas, including my own brother, Honourable Speaker, who happens to be the ambassador based in Abu Dhabi. I wish him well, I wish him safety, and I wish everyone in the Middle East God's protection. I want to thank His Excellency for his gracious speech, Honourable Speaker, and very thought-provoking speech, which talks of many great ambitions and it has some good material with respect to moving forward, and for us to take an inward look at what kind of nation we are and where we want to be. And I commend His Excellency with respect to the same. His Excellency raised issues regarding the sovereignty of our people, the wisdom of our elders, and the sacrifices of those that actually came before us. He spoke about diversity, our strength, our unity and purpose. He also asked us to pause and reflect with respect to our national journey since Fiji was seeded in 152 odd years ago. These are very important matters. They're not just parts of a speech, Honourable Speaker. He also spoke about our leaders assuming responsibilities of nationhood at independence and how they did so with humility and a profound sense of duty and optimism, is what he said. He spoke about service, sacrifice, stewardship. He spoke about equilibrium with respect to maintaining a sense of balance that positions Fiji for challenges that come upon us. He also spoke about our journey with respect to 4 constitutions, Honourable Speaker, reflecting an ongoing search for fairness and also for equality and stability. He spoke about this must be sustained by dialogue, compromise, and most importantly, the respect for rule of law. He also spoke about the fact that we should now be at a stage of deeper national maturity, Honourable Speaker, having gone through each particular chapter. Nation building and how its progress was also spoken about, and the collective effort must be at the forefront of our journey. Multicultural society issues that he spoke about, and how our unity must be consciously built through a couple of things. He spoke about fair laws, inclusive policies, respectful leadership, and a shared commitment to the common good. Now, he also, Honourable Speaker, asked us to approach our responsibilities with objectivity, with discipline, and with respect, Honourable Speaker. And he also quite clearly mentioned how media freedom and parliamentary debate is actually the lifeblood of democracy. And that's what he quoted. He said, but it must be grounded in evidence, reason, and practical solutions. And I want this to be heard again. This is why I'm actually mentioning this, Honourable Speaker. And again, he also spoke about the wisdom of the outcome of our debates and the sharpness of our debate. And also how we should recommit ourselves to Fijian nationhood, not just on Independence Day. And we must look at the enduring obligation to govern wisely, unite our people, and to leave our future generations happier and stronger and more cohesive. Honourable Speaker, in amongst all of that, he actually mentioned how the philosopher Socrates had devised issues with respect to talking about freedom of expression and how it remains a cornerstone of our democracy. He said the 3 sieves that the philosopher Socrates devised was, the first sieve is it true? It's been mentioned before. Second sieve is it kind or good? And is it useful? And lastly, will it just create drama? We are all smart people in this room, and I think we need to really take heed of such matters that are being raised by our President, His Excellency. Honourable Speaker, let me be quite clear from the outset. The speech actually reflects the policies of government, and it reflects the promises of government. And therefore, it must be measured not against aspiration, but against performance, Honourable Speaker. Speeches are easy, but governance is not, Honourable Speaker. Today I'll speak on matters that sit at the very heart of our nation, our democracy, the strength of our institutions, and the future direction of our economy in an increasingly daily uncertain world. Honourable Speaker, Fiji is still a young democracy, despite our 4 constitutions. But our democratic journey has not been an easy one. As a nation, as I say, we've lived through 4 constitutions. Each constitution has reflected a particular moment in our history. Moments of hope, moments of conflict, and moments of rebuilding, Honourable Speaker. from the 1970 Constitution, which marked our independence, to the 1990 Constitution, which came after political upheaval, then the 1997 Constitution, which attempted to restore unity and inclusivity, and finally the 2013 Constitution, which governs us today. Mr. Speaker, the fact that we have had 4 constitutions tells us something very important. It tells that democracy has been tested many times. It reminds us that democratic systems are fragile when institutions are weak, Honorable Speaker, when leaders place politics above principles, and when the rule of law is compromised, Honorable Speaker. A constitution alone does not guarantee democracy. Strong and independent institutions do, Honorable Speaker. Institutions such as the judiciary, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, the Fiji Police Force, the Fiji Independent Commission Against Corruption, the Electoral Commission, and the Reserve Bank must be protected at all times from political interference, Honorable Speaker. These institutions are not meant to serve the governments of the day. They are meant to serve the Constitution and the people of Fiji, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, when we speak about protecting the independence of our public and our constitutional offices, we must also speak about how the people who lead these institutions are appointed. Appointments to those offices must always be based on merit. And what do we mean by merit-based appointments? It means appointments are not based on who you know, which town you live in, which district you live in, which village you're from, and they're not based on any traditional ties. And they are certainly not and should never be based on the political party you support. Public and constitutional offices do not belong to any government. They belong to the people of Fiji, Honorable Speaker. And the people of Fiji deserve institutions that are led by individuals chosen for their competence, their integrity, and their ability to serve the nation with independence, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, when institutions become politicized, when appointments are questioned, when processes lack transparency, and when public confidence begins to erode, democracy itself begins to weaken, Honorable Speaker. Democracy is not just about elections every 4 years. It's about trust, Honorable Speaker. Trust that the law will apply equally to everyone. Trust that the institutions will act independently. Trust that the leaders will be accountable, Honorable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, the people of Fiji today are asking serious questions about that trust. Mr. Speaker, sir, let me explain the situation using a simple analogy. Think of Fiji as a vehicle filled with passengers, and those passengers are the people of Fiji, our workers, our farmers, our small business owners, our students, our families. In 2022, after the election, the coalition government stood before these passengers and said, get into the car with us, we'll drive you to a better Fiji, a more prosperous Fiji, a fairer Fiji, a transparent Fiji. That was the promise. People boarded the vehicle. But it is now becoming clear why they did not get an overall majority. Most people knew not to trust these drivers because their records showed exactly what they do. 3 years later, Honorable Speaker, the passengers are looking out the window and asking various questions. Are we even moving? 36 months later, we're still getting blame game. The blame game that exists every time we start up Parliament. 36 months later, have we made much progress? I don't think so. Because what the passengers are seeing is not progress. What they are seeing is a particular vehicle driving around in circles. The same scenery, the same arguments, the same confusion. Round and round. Honorable Speaker, let's look at what has actually dominated the life of this particular government for the last 2 years. Appointments, terminations, investigations, inquiries, and maybe some settlements. Who knows? 1 week someone's appointed, the next week someone's suspended. The following week someone's removed. Then a commission of inquiry is established. Then the matter disappears. Then another appointment is made. Honorable Speaker, what this reflects is not governance, this reflects chaos. And the people of Fiji are asking, who's driving this particular vehicle? The government promised professionalism, promised competence, promised strong institutions. But the government, the coalition government, has struggled to maintain stability in its own ranks. Appointments have been made, appointments have collapsed, controversies have emerged. And I'm not saying anything new. Positions have shifted, and the nation has been left watching a revolving door. This raises two very serious possibilities. Either there's a lack of technical capability, or there's distrust amongst the ranks to sustain those appointments. So the question that Joe Citizen will ask is the government can't even maintain its stability in its office, and it raises the profound questions with respect to competence. Mr. Speaker, sir, we have had one scandal after another. Scandal arises, questionable decisions emerge, whenever a controversy reaches the public domain. Let me say this respectfully but firmly, sir. We must find out these particular answers. Who is to answer for all of this? Who is the one giving the advice? Because the leadership requires awareness, leadership requires control, leadership requires responsibility. But that leadership needs to get good advice. Where's the advice coming from when it falls astray? Honorable Speaker, what I also wanted to say was that the actual coalition is cannibalizing itself. This has become a feature of the government. There's been internal competition between these coalition partners, and let's be honest about what's happening. They're not all governing together. They're campaigning against each other while still in government. Each partner is positioning itself for the next election. Each partner is protecting its own political territory. Each partner is competing for the headlines. And meanwhile, sir, what's happening in Fiji is not being thought about. Mr. Speaker, sir, this is what happens when you have a coalition government that stops focusing on government and starts focusing on survival. The result is paralysis. Decisions are delayed, policies are diluted, leadership becomes fragmented, and who pays the price? The country does. The cost of living and our economic reality, Honourable Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, when we look at the current state of our economy, many families across Fiji are struggling. The cost of living continues to rise. Food prices remain high. Transportation costs are increasing. Many households are finding it harder each month to make ends meet. Businesses report uncertainty. Skilled workers continue to leave our shores in large numbers. And whilst the government speaks about economic growth, and many ordinary Fijians are asking a simple question: growth for whom? Because economic statistics mean very little when families can't afford basic necessities. And there may be more yet to come with the current state of the world. So the question that needs to be asked is, what are we going to do about it? Mr. Speaker, sir, the health of this nation is a reflection of the performance of its government. Today we are witnessing the consequences of some poor leadership and weak administration. Our health system is struggling. The state of the infrastructure at CWM continues to deteriorate. This is not progress, this is chaos. Mr. Speaker, sir, at the same time we are seeing serious failures in basic service delivery. Today there are thousands of back-to-school assistance applications still pending. These are just not administrative files sitting on a desk. They are real families, real parents, real children waiting for support that was promised to them, Honourable Speaker. His Excellency's address outlined an ambitious agenda that the government claims it wants to achieve. Very noble, sir. But when the executive itself begins to falter under chaos, confusion, and incompetence, that agenda quickly becomes meaningless. Honourable Speaker, this is a recipe for disaster. It leads, and a very long word comes to mind, it leads to a state of discombobulation. And the people of Fiji are paying the price. Honourable Speaker, with respect to global uncertainty and national preparedness. We must also look beyond our borders. The world today is facing serious challenges, serious geopolitical tensions on a daily basis. The goalposts are being shifted on a daily basis. Conflicts are unfolding in different regions. Global trade routes are being disrupted and supply chains remain fragile. But we are still the #1 destination to come to, Honorable Speaker. We are still said commonly that we are the safest place in the world. But we must be prepared, Honorable Speaker. For a small island nation like Fiji, global developments are not distant issues. They directly affect our economy, our fuel prices, and our food security, and our tourism industry. We should be ever so grateful to the tourism industry. It has pulled us out of the fire on many occasions, Honorable Speaker. But where is Fiji's contingency plan? We need to start hearing some things about it. Where is our backup strategy if global tensions escalate further? What is our national plan if tourism declines due to international instability? What is our strategy if fuel prices spike dramatically again? Responsible leadership requires governments to plan not only for good times, but also for bad times. We must invest in renewable energy and local production to reduce vulnerability to all these global shocks, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, let us remind ourselves of the contrast. The contrast from 2007 right up to 2022. Between 2007 and 2022, Fiji experienced significant transformation. Infrastructure development accelerated. Education access expanded. Digital government services introduced. Tourism and investment grew. Public services were modernized and direction was clear. Mr. Speaker, sir, the people of Fiji may debate politics, but they cannot ignore progress when they see it. In conclusion, sir, Honorable Speaker, the analogy of the car remains the most accurate description of where Fiji stands today. Passengers were promised a journey to prosperity. Instead, they've been taken in these circles. And I'll say this again. Appointments, terminations, scandals, investigations, internal political battles round and round. Passengers are no longer amused, Honorable Speaker. They are asking the driver to either take them somewhere meaningful or step aside. The President's address outlines a vision of progress, and very commendable one at that. But the reality of governance is that must match that particular vision. We must practice what the President has just preached to us in his speech. And it is a wonderful speech. It has given us guidance with respect to how we ought to behave and what we need to do. People of Fiji deserve leadership that delivers, leadership that focuses on service delivery, leadership that provides economic certainty, leadership that moves the country forward, not leadership that will drive us in circles. After 3 years, they are still waiting, Honorable Speaker. I thank His Excellency the President for his speech, and I thank you, Honorable Speaker, for allowing me the opportunity to respond. Vinaka.
I thank the Honorable Fayaz Koya for his contribution to the motion. Honorable members, that should do us for this morning's proceedings. Before we suspend our proceedings for lunch, I inform the CWP Fiji Group is meeting during the lunch period at a small committee room where lunch will also be served. So our proceedings suspended for our lunch break. We will resume at 2:30 p.m. Thank you, Honorable.